5. Wave-particle duality. You know how waves of water spread out when you throw a rock in the pond? Light can behave like that, spreading out in waves, but it can also act like tiny particles, called photons, when it hits something. A practical example is how light affects the solar panels on your house. Sunlight behaves like particles that hit and convert to electricity. How humans relate. We encounter duality in life too. For example, a person can be both a hard worker, like a wave spreading effort everywhere, and a focused individual, like a particle, concentrating on one thing at a time. Both aspects work together, just like light. 6. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Real-life example. It's like trying to zoom in on a moving car with a camera. The more you focus on its exact position, the blurrier its speed becomes. In quantum mechanics, the more precisely you measure a particle's position, the less you know about its speed. So you can't know both perfectly at the same time. How humans relate. Think of it like trying to focus too much on a task at work. The more you focus on the exact details, the less you get done overall. Sometimes it's better to focus on the big picture and let some details go. 7. Superposition, the quantum coexistence. Real-life example. You know when you can't decide between two ice cream flavors? In the quantum world, it's as if you're tasting both at the same time, until you choose which one you prefer. This is like how particles exist in a state of multiple possibilities at once. Think of superposition like the what-if moments in life. You're juggling multiple possibilities until you decide which direction to go. It's the uncertainty of making big life choices, like deciding between two jobs or two paths. 8. Quantum computing. Power beyond limits. Real-life example. Imagine you have a maze with millions of paths. A regular computer tries each one by one. A quantum computer, however, tries them all at the same time and finds the quickest way out. This is because quantum computers use qubits that can represent multiple values at once. How humans relate. We all face tough decisions in life that could take forever to figure out if we only take one path at a time. Quantum computing is like having the ability to instantly analyze all your options and make the best choice faster. 9. Quantum teleportation, instantaneous information transfer. If you could send a message to a friend instantly, no matter the distance, that's what quantum teleportation does. It transfers information between two particles that are entangled, no matter how far apart they are. Imagine you're communicating with a close friend and somehow know exactly what they're feeling, even without them saying a word. That instant, unexplainable connection is a loose parallel to the instantaneous effects seen in quantum teleportation. 10. Zero-point energy, the energy of nothing. Even in the emptiest vacuum, there's still a little energy floating around called zero-point energy. This is like the leftover heat you feel in your car's engine even after it's been turned off. Think of it like trying to get rid of all the clutter in a room. Even when you think you've cleared it out, there's always something left behind. Just like how space is never entirely empty, there's always a bit of energy lingering. 11th, quantum foam, the fabric of space. Imagine that space is like a calm ocean, but when you look closely, you see tiny frothy bubbles rising to the surface. This quantum foam represents the fluctuations in energy and space-time at a microscopic level. It's like when things seem calm and peaceful, but then little unexpected waves, like small problems or surprises, pop up in life. Space-time is always a bit frothy underneath. 12th, quantum dots, tiny artificial atoms. Tiny quantum dots are used in things like LED screens, where they produce bright, specific colors of light. It's like having a set of special paint colors to create the perfect picture, but in the form of tiny quantum particles. Quantum dots are like the tools we use in everyday life to enhance our experiences, such as customizing a car with your favorite color or designing a home with unique styles. The tiny details make a big difference. 13th, quantum communication, unbreakable encryption. Imagine sending a message that, if someone tries to read it, will automatically get scrambled, alerting you to the breach. This is the principle behind quantum communication. which uses quantum states to ensure that information remains secure. It's like when you send a secret text message to a friend that only they can read, knowing it's completely safe because even if someone intercepts it, they won't be able to understand it. 14. Virtual particles, tiny temporary creatures. Think of a peaceful pond that occasionally bubbles with tiny fish that appear and disappear. These are like virtual particles that pop in and out of existence, influencing forces like gravity and magnetism. It's like moments of surprise in life, small events or changes that happen unexpectedly and influence your larger surroundings, even though they're brief and impermanent. 15th. Quantum mechanics. Works at tiny scales. Imagine a grain of sand on a beach. You can't see the quantum behavior of tiny particles at the size of the sand grain, but those tiny particles inside it, atoms and electrons, are following quantum rules. Just as you can't see the atoms inside a solid object, you can't always see the tiny decisions and events in your life, but they still shape your future in big ways. 16. The double-slit experiment. In this experiment, particles behave as waves until someone watches them. This is like a performer who only becomes a character when on stage. When you look at a situation closely, it behaves one way, but when you're not looking, it behaves differently. It's like deciding to act differently when someone is watching you versus when you're alone. The energy you put into something changes based on how much attention it gets. 17th. Quantum leap. Not a big jump, just a tiny one. Electrons inside atoms don't move gradually between energy levels. They jump. It's like climbing a staircase without ever stepping between the stairs. You just leap from one to the next. In life, some changes happen suddenly and with little warning, just like how big shifts in careers or relationships can happen all at once without incremental buildup. 18. Schrödinger's cat, a thought experiment. Imagine you put your favorite toy inside a box, but you're not sure if it's in one piece or broken. Until you open the box, it's both broken and whole at the same time. It's like having multiple possibilities for what's inside. This is how we sometimes feel about life decisions. You don't know the outcome until you make a choice, and until then, all possibilities seem equally possible.